We have lots to discuss here in today's video, including some trade talk around a variety of teams. Today's trade rumors focus on teams like the St. Louis Blues, who appear ready to be making some moves here soon. We also got trade talk around the Vancouver Canucks, the Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators, Minnesota Wild, and the Dallas Stars. We have a couple of activities today on the NHL waiver wire. We had a small trade earlier to take a look at, all kinds of injury updates, a couple of big milestones for some veteran players here tonight as well. Plus, we have a big update on the rink situation in Italy for the 2026 Olympics, and the NHL's issued a warning to teams about not wearing their helmets during warmups. All that and more coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have lots to discuss here in today's video. We'll start off first with some news from the NHL waiver wire. We have more activity here today. First off, we have a player on unconditional waivers, which is a mutually agreed situation to terminate the contract. That's between the Tampa Bay Lightning and prospect Nico Huhtinen, who's a 24-year-old player in the second year of his contract of his ELC. He's played in the combination of AHL and ECHL. Obviously probably not thrilled with the opportunity to progress higher, so they will terminate the contract after he clears waivers tomorrow, and he'll be able to seek other opportunities. We also have Kevin Rooney of the Utah Mammoth on waivers here today as well. We'll find out tomorrow afternoon if Rooney is picked up at all or if he'll be reassigned to their AHL affiliate. Now, as I mentioned, we did have a smaller prospect-type trade earlier today between Los Angeles and St. Louis, with the Los Angeles Kings trading Akil Thomas to the Blues for forward Nikita Alexandrov. They're both in a similar situation, looking for more of an opportunity. We'll see if either of that can come from this trade. They're both 25 years old. Thomas, of course, was a second-rounder in 2018. He's played in 32 NHL games, putting up 7 points. His longest look was playing in 25 of those 32 games last year, but this year, going into training camp, he ended up getting cut and put through waivers to go back to the minors. He's been a really good player, productive player in the American Hockey League, but has yet to kind of break through and stick in the NHL long term. Thomas, of course, most likely well-known moment came as a member of Canada's World Junior Team in 2020, scoring the gold medal clinching goal to help Canada win gold at that tournament. It was his only goal of the tournament, but he came up big, obviously playing a smaller role-playing role in that tournament, but it was a huge goal for him. Probably the biggest moment of his career so far. In Nikita Alexandrov's case, going back to Los Angeles, also 25 years old, was a second-rounder in 2019. He's played in 23 games 2 years ago, and then played in 28 games the year before that. So in 22, 23, 28 games, 23 games, and 23, 24. But in the last year, he was in the minors the entire year, where he was a point-per-game player at the American Hockey League level. So clearly, both these guys are good minor league players. They just haven't been able to stick. They have a decent amount of NHL games, but not enough to really been able to become full-time players yet. So we'll see if the change benefits them in either situation like that. Of course, we know with the NHL, every Monday we get the 3 stars of the week, which we had yesterday. Today dawns a new month of December. So we get the 3 stars for the month of November, as well as the Rookie of the Month. So the 3 stars for the month of November include the Avalanche's Nate McKinnon. Had a phenomenal month in 13 games. He put up 26 points, averaging 2 points per game, 11 goals, 15 assists. Number 2 was Stars winger Jason Robertson, who was on fire as well. In 15 games, he also put up 26 points, 13 goals, 13 assists. And number 3 is the what's called the rising up the charts guy, Connor Bedard, along with guys like Celebrini, really taking the league by storm this year. Bedard had 10 goals, 13 assists for 23 points in only 14 games. So all phenomenal months from all 3 of those players. The Rookie of the Month, Jesper Wallstedt of the Minnesota Wild. I know we've talked a lot at the beginning of the season. Most people's predictions for the Calder Trophy was Demidov in Montreal. I think that was probably the most widely picked player amongst everybody that does predictions, amongst all the media, YouTubers, like all the analysts out there. I know my pick was Matthew Schaefer. I thought Demidov I picked to be having a great season, and I figured he'd be in the conversation, maybe being a finalist. But I thought Schaefer playing more minutes on the D side, putting up phenomenal, type numbers. He's been my pick all along. But you know what? Wallstedt just might surprise everybody here if this keeps up. I mean, goaltenders can win this award. A lot of it boils down to how much they play. But, he's playing so well that he's going to get more and more opportunity to continue playing here for the Wild. And it's certainly not because of Gustafsson being bad. Like, Wallstedt's just been amazing this year, putting up a 6-0 record. So 6 wins, no losses, no overtime losses, including 3 shutouts in the month of November, a .967 save percentage, and a 1.14 goals against. So he's been a very, very stingy goaltender this year, which bodes well for him. So to be rookie of the month this early in the year, these kind of numbers, if he keeps up anything close to that, playing at least 5-6 games a month, by the time we get to the end of the year, he'll have enough games in that he'll definitely be played enough to be in consideration for the Calder. And if his numbers are anything close to what they were last month, he just might become the new odds-on favorite to win. But Wallstedt, Schaefer, Demonov, there's lots of strong talent in the league this year for sure. Now, a bunch of injury updates today. We got some big milestones going down tonight as well. We have both Jamie Benn of the Dallas Stars and David Perron of the Ottawa Senators both set to play game number 1200 tonight. Perron, of course, with the Senators are in Montreal. Now, it's going to depend on who gets the first shift first, but the next player to reach this goal is going to be the 137th player in league history to achieve this. 13th and 14th active players to hit this, and in Perron's case, it'll be the 18th Quebec-born player to achieve it. So certainly a big milestone. Both these guys have been around the league a long time. Solid veteran players. So hopefully a big night for them tonight. Some big injury updates, including Dallas Stars young defenseman Leon Bichel, who got hurt just the other day as the Stars and Senators were playing in Dallas a couple days back on Sunday. He went into the boards awkwardly. I think he had a brief kind of contact with Zetterlund, but just he went into the boards in a weird way. He didn't even go down. He kind of went in sideways. It was really awkward. But you could tell as soon as it happened, he was in a lot of pain down on the ice. You could hear the voice and screams coming out of him wasn't good. So he is going to need surgery for whatever it was. They didn't say exactly what it was, but he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So it's a bad blow for them. The Senators today also returned Hayden Hodgson back to the American Hockey League to go down and play some games in Belleville. Now that they're fully healthy, they got Brady Tkachuk back, Ridley Gregg back. They need to find some playing time for McDermott. So Hodgson returns to the AHL. A couple updates from Craig Berube on the Maple Leafs that have been out of action. Brandon Carlo apparently has had a big setback with his recovery. Might need surgery, and that could even put him out much longer. So we're still waiting. Of course, the Leafs, we know, the Leafs are very vague, very, I don't know what the word will be, but they don't like to give you details at all. But Carlo could be out quite an extended time because of the setback and maybe needing surgery. We'll have to wait and see. Anthony Stolarz is still not skating, so that was started off with, I don't think it's serious, probably like a couple days, to, it's going to be a bit longer, to all this time later, he's still not skating. We don't know what to think. Like I said, they give so little detail, and they don't want to tell you anything that you don't even know. Sometimes if Berube says minor injury, couple of days, people are thinking, yep, probably a couple of months. So that's where things are at with the fan base. Chris Tanev also apparently has started to skate back in Toronto, as the Leafs are on the road right now, but he's still quite a ways away from returning, according to what they're saying. The Utah Mammoth today recalled Daniil Boo. He is leading their AHL club in points right now. Dmitry Simashev has gone down to the AHL, so they'll swap places. Tyson Forster of the Philadelphia Flyers, a significant injury there as well. Apparently hurt himself trying to do a one-timer, but he's going to be out 2 to 3 months with an upper body injury. So bad news there for Philly. Elliot Friedman's also reporting today that a long time, you call him a veteran, but he hasn't always played the NHL, combination of NHL minor leaguer with Jarred Tinordi. He's looking for another opportunity. He played last year for the Flames AHL affiliate in Calgary, but he ended up needing off-season knee surgery. He's now fully cleared, ready to play, looking for an opportunity. So like other players we've heard about recently here, between like Robbie Fabry and guys like that, Tinordi is looking for a contract. I suspect it's probably going to have to be either a two-way deal or an AHL deal, but we'll see if he ends up getting signed. And the Los Angeles Kings today have signed Sammy Helenius to a 2-year contract extension valued at $875,000 per per season. Now, a couple other updates we learned from the NHL today. One, apparently they're cracking down on the guys going out no buckets for warm-ups. Unfortunately, seems to be a trend that started in Vegas back last week by the Ottawa Senators. They were asked about this because the entire team came out. Usually right now, the only time you see that is a rookie lap, and I think for the most part, the league kind of lets it go. If there is a fine, the team just covers it. But, I mean, theoretically, players can be fined for doing this. I don't think they've enforced it, though. But when they were asked about it, Shane Pinto was, I think, the player that did the interview. He just said they had a day off before they arrived at Vegas. He was celebrating his new contract, taking the team out for dinner, and he said over dinner they just discussed it and decided they were going to do this. They had a good game. They won the game. So I don't know. But then followed up, the San Jose Sharks did the same thing. So now that multiple teams have done it, the league apparently is sending around a reminder, a warning, or what you will, that they don't want this happening. So I think they're reminding teams that they can be fined. And if the whole team is doing it, I suspect instead of individual fines, which could be or will still be the case, you might also see a team fine as well. Obviously, we've seen some injuries and guys end up getting a puck to the head or something like that out there. So it's, I understand the safety part of it, but I don't know. It seems a little bit much at times, but I know sometimes you have to make the players kind of save them from themselves sometimes, because we know that from a safety perspective, sometimes they may not necessarily care or see what the issue is, but at the same time, if you get to talk to an owner and say, do you want one of your guys out there for warm-up accidentally getting a puck to the head or something, they might feel differently about it. But is it really a big deal? No, it's not. But the NHL is choosing to make it that, and we'll see if it stops or what have you. The other big update we got today was on the Olympic Games and the arena situation over in Italy. Of course, we've heard lots of concerns about the fact that the arena was not ready yet. There was delays in the construction and completion of that. Pete DeBoer, of course, longtime NHL head coach, who's part of Team Canada's crew on the coaching side, apparently was one of the members of the crew to go over and see the situation. He spoke on that and said that the arena is actually not even going to be as big as an NHL arena from the playing surface. So we know that a lot of European rinks have what we refer to as Olympic size sheets, whereas in North America you get the NHL size sheets. The Olympic ones are usually a little bit bigger, a little bit roomier, right? Most people know that by now. It's been a long-standing thing, and it hasn't been a big deal. But the agreement was that this arena was supposed to be built to NHL specs, and he's saying that it's going to be about 3 to 4 feet smaller. So I mean, that just seems weird. He even commented that he has no idea how something like this could happen. Just bizarre. I mean, by the end of October, we had heard that the building didn't even have a roof on it yet. There's definitely a lot of concerns that, one, is it going to be ready? Two, is it going to meet the standards? I'm certainly starting to have a little bit of, concerns that they may pull out. I mean, I would hope at this point that the tournament's still going to happen, but there's no plan B. We've heard that from a variety of places and both sides of the equation here, from the NHL, all the IOC people. There is no plan B. If this arena for some reason is not ready or there's big problems with it, they don't have another place to go. So I don't know. I mean, it's something to monitor, and we'll see what happens. But how they could have it happen that it's not even up to NHL size and specs makes absolutely no sense. I don't know how inept these people can be, but construction with this arena has been a major issue and concern for the league for a number of weeks and months now. So definitely a story worth following for sure. Now on the trade front, I know one of the teams that Elliot Friedman was talking about, of course, here recently, saying that one of the teams he feels is most ready to make moves is the Blues. So he was told by some of his sources to keep a close eye on the Blues. They're definitely a team that Doug Armstrong appears ready to strike, and that he doesn't want to wait too much longer to start, shaking up this team and getting some changes made. And we know there's been a number of players on that team that's been in the rumor mill, and we've heard a variety of levels of interest from a whole bunch of different teams. For example, we know that the players that are most likely going to get moved are Captain Braden Shen, maybe Jordan Kyrou. He'd have to agree to it now because he has a no-move clause. We've heard some rumblings about Jordan Binnington. We've heard some rumblings about Justin Falk. We've heard a few others too, but they're probably the most higher level players that could be available. I'd say probably Oscar Sundqvist could be made available as well. But still, like, those are the bigger names that are been in the rumor mill. And we've heard, for example, Montreal and Ottawa both linked to a variety of these players at different times over the last number of weeks. And the Blues actually have a number of key people in their organization actually at the Montreal-Ottawa game tonight. The game, as I record this video, that game will be ready to start here in the next few minutes. And I know I've seen an update from those in the press box that there's Tim Taylor, the AGM of the Blues, and Peter Chiarelli, of course, who lives in Ottawa but is an advisor for the Blues, not far from Montreal. So he made the trip down. So we've heard of Schenn being linked to a variety of teams. We've heard of Kyrou being linked to a variety of teams, and those two teams have come up with a bunch of them. So I don't know that we're really anything's imminent or anything at that point, but definitely something worth watching. With Friedman saying the Blues are at a point where they may strike a deal here soon, and then we've got that many multiple members, and watching one game, we'll see if there's a link there to those teams or not. But those players are all in line to possibly be traded. I know Binnington's probably a little bit more complicated for some teams because of the contract. Kyrou's got a no move, so Schenn seems to be one of the more ones that could go first, but again, they'll definitely talk to him as well and see what he's willing to do, as well as just same goes for Justin Falk. We'll see. One report as well I found interesting was the Molly Walker of the New York Post, following up on the reports of Artemi Panarin of the Rangers considering going to Russia next year, not signing an NHL contract. Right now, he'd be one of the biggest names to headline free agency in 2026. We know that class of players has certainly been greatly condensed because of a lot of players re-signing with their existing clubs. So it's not as interesting as it could have been had a lot of these guys held off doing deals. But there's been a lot of talks around Panarin's future with the Rangers. Molly Walker does confirm again that as of now, there are still no extension talks with the Rangers. We heard the preseason reports that the Rangers had gone to Panarin, talked about a short-term extension on a team-friendly deal, kind of something that they would hope that he would agree to, like we've seen some other veteran guys do, and he didn't seem interested in that at all. So that kind of shut down things. That basically they learned early on that if he's going to stay in New York, he's going to be looking for the biggest bang for his buck, the most money he can get. And obviously he's making a lot of money right now. He's not going to want to take a tremendous haircut if he doesn't have to. So the expectation is that there's a pretty good chance he won't be back with the Rangers next year. Now, of course, he has trade protection as well, but the Rangers are kind of an up and down team right now. I don't think we can say with any certainty that they're going to be a playoff team. I don't think we can say with any certainty that they're a real serious threat in the Eastern Conference. So there is belief that Chris Drury and the Rangers could look to make some changes ahead of the NHL trade deadline. They might be more likely to be a seller again, but Panarin has control. But will they talk to him to be moved? I would suspect they will try, but again, if he wants to be, I say call it being difficult, but really if he doesn't want to play ball, and he wants to just ride things out with the Rangers, that's totally up to him. He can do that. And when she asked him point blank about the reports of him going to Russia, he didn't deny it. Now, he didn't say he was either, but he basically just kind of played it off, saying that you can't really I'm not quoting him, but just to kind of paraphrase, you can't really say what's going to happen with your life outside of hockey and all that. Just kind of said, yeah, I guess anything's possible, basically the way he made it sound. So didn't deny it. Prime opportunity to say, no, I want to continue playing in the NHL. Didn't have to say he wants to stay with the Rangers. Didn't want to say anything. Just that my intention is to keep playing in the NHL. And he didn't say that. He didn't deny the KHL reports or anything. So we'll have to see where things go on that front. Of course, we know the Vancouver Canucks are another team like the Blues, like the Predators, are considered to be the most likely teams to pull the trigger first to kind of open up the trade market here a little bit. And one of the top names that everybody's following is Kiefer Sherwood. Of course, he's playing really well, had a pretty good year last year in Vancouver, opened up a lot of eyes to maybe what he could be. He's only making $1.5 million. He is on an expiring contract, so the Canucks are in a spot because of poor performance that they don't necessarily feel it makes a lot of sense for them to sign him to a longer-term deal. I think there's some concern that, he may not have a harder time keeping up this level of play long term, and it might make more sense for them to try to get younger and try to retool this team a bit after a poor performance. So, again, Sherwood getting a lot of interest here just makes more sense for them to move him, I think. I mean, there's been a lot of teams. We've heard that the belief is the Canucks are going to try to hold out and get a first-round pick if they can. Maybe even a first-round pick and some sort of prospect. I don't know if they'll reach that high of a level. If they get a bidding war, maybe they will. But on TSN Insider Trading tonight, Pierre LeBrun mentioned at least 3 teams, including Minnesota, Dallas, and Montreal, as being teams that he knows has interest and at least checked in on the player. We know with looking at the Habs lineup, they definitely have a few holes with some injuries. I think that Sherwood is a player that would probably fit well with them. He's a different kind of guy, that doesn't necessarily, a lot of teams don't have, a guy who can play with grit and physicality and yet still give you some offense. I think his game would translate extremely well to playoffs. So I think a lot of teams are looking at that as well and saying, if we're confident we can get into playoffs, we think he could be a big help. So he mentioned those 3 teams, but they're not the only ones. He said there's easily a much longer list, but those are the teams he's had people tell him for sure have at least checked in. We've heard a lot of other teams too. I would think that most teams that are gunning for playoffs right now would have some level of interest in Sherwood's services. The big thing, though, will be his next contract. There's been some reports that he's played well enough that he's likely looking for like a $5 million contract for multiple years on the next deal. That might scare some teams off, but I think if a team is willing to give him that extension, they're probably going to get a bigger return to the Canucks, right? If the Canucks end up trading him as just a rental, which might be the case, then of course it might not be as much. But we've heard that right now at this point that the Canucks have not given he or his agent any permission to speak to teams about an extension. That could change maybe as things get a little bit more serious and heat up. But right now, that's where things are at. Lots of interest. Could be the first player to kind of shake up the market here, but we will see where things go. Let me know your thoughts on all of today's news or rumors in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.